my darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm reviewing Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. So in case you guys didn't know, the last week of September every year is Banned Book Week, and it's a week that we talk about and discuss books that have been banned and why they've been banned. So this year I have been reading Fahrenheit 451 because I haven't done that before. This is a book that has been banned, but it also is a book that deals with book banning and book burning. So Fahrenheit 451 is a really short book. I think the actual text of this is like 160 pages. It's not very long. And this book was written in the 1950s for some historical context there. So in this book, we have a society where reading books is banned. You can't own them. You can't read them. Anyone caught with a book, their books not only get destroyed and burned, but their entire house does, and they get arrested and taken away to an insane asylum. So, pretty serious stuff here. Our main character is Guy Montage, and he is a fireman, and his job is not to stop fires, but rather to start them. So, Guy is the one who's in charge of burning those books and houses. At the beginning of the book, Guy is pretty content with his life. Like, he doesn't question it. That's how life is, and that's the status quo, and he just goes along with it. That is until he meets his 17-year-old neighbor, Clarice, and she's strange and odd and thinks. Clarice is outside walking for the sake of walking, not from, like, getting from work to home or for travel purposes, but because she enjoys being outside and likes the sound of birds and the taste of rain and smelling flowers. And Guy's like, well, why would you want to do that? You could be at home watching television like everybody else. And Clarice starts to tell him about the joys of the world and nature. And so Guy starts questioning his life and the society that they live in. So this seed of doubt is already planted by Clarice. Status quo maybe isn't everything. And then one day when he goes to burn a house, he meets this woman who is so passionate about these books that she starts the fire herself and burns herself and her books together. And Guy's like, why would somebody do that? So Guy steals one of the books that was going to be burned and kind of just sneaks it home. And he finds out that this is one of the last copies of the Bible, Old and New Testament together. And he starts wondering, like, what's the big deal about books? What's the point? Why are people willing to die for them? Why are they so dangerous? So he starts thinking about reading it. And at this point, his boss shows up at his house and is like, yo, I know something's up. I know you stole that book. Look, if you return in the next 24 hours, we'll just pretend this never happened. You know, we all sometimes have these error in judgments and, like, question things. But, you know, if you come back into the fold willingly, it'll be okay. So Guy decides that these books must really be something, and so he starts trying to read it. And he starts trying to read them with his wife. And struggling to understand, so he starts looking for help, and he remembers this old man that he met in the park once. And he goes to him and see if the man can explain it. And this man was an English professor, so he starts telling him about books. So Guy really starts to question the society that he lives in and why books are banned and what importance they have. And so Guy is kind of the hope in the society that things could change. So obviously in this book, one of the main themes is book burning and banning books. And we find out that in this world, the government didn't ban the books first. The government noticed that people had stopped reading and then banned the books to make everybody kind of think the same. The government can control the televisions a lot easier than controlling books. And watching television is kind of this passive experience where you're just consuming, you don't think. And so they can get the entire society to think alike and think the same things. So people had already stopped reading the books because it made them uncomfortable. Reading books and thinking can lead you to be discontent, to be unhappy, basically. And so books are seen as really dangerous things. What Guy finds out is that books have worth for a few different reasons. There's also the dangers of mass media, the television having a mass culture and striving for instant gratification. So in this world, they don't just have TVs. It's not just a 30-inch screen or whatever. It's the entire wall, like rooms where like all four walls are televisions, and when you're watching, you're just completely surrounded and immersed in that world, and you're not at home anymore. You're not wherever you are. There's a disconnect between you and like reality. And Guy's wife Mildred is one of these people that can spend like the entire day just watching television. She refers to the people on TV as her family. She really becomes attached to them and the television itself. And even when Mildred watches something, Guy will ask her what she was watching, and like 5 minutes later, she can't actually remember the details. There's a real danger in just consuming without thinking about things. And so this is creating a disconnect with what is real and actually happening. People aren't grounded the same way. And then we also see Mildred and Guy's relationship. They're married, they've been together for a few years, but they don't really have a strong connection to each other. They're basically two people that just live in the house together and do their own lives. Neither Guy or Mildred can remember how they met. There's a scene where Clarice, like, has this dandelion and she rubs it on her chin. She's like, oh, I'm in love. And then she rubs it on his chin. And, well, he's the second person who gets it, so he doesn't get his chin, like, doesn't turn yellow. And she's like, oh, you're not in love with anyone. And Guy thinks about it and he's like, actually, I'm not. He's not in love with his wife. And he even realizes that if Mildred died, he's not even sure that he would cry about it. So Fahrenheit 451 is a really good read. It's short, but it also is like really well written, like the actual wording that Bradbury uses to describe things. So if you guys haven't already read Fahrenheit 451, I highly recommend it. It's an important book. It's a classic for a reason. I enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below if you have read this book, or if you're planning to read this book, or what other banned books or books about banning books do you like and enjoy. Post those in the comments below. I'll also put a link to Banned Book Week's website and the American Library Association's page for Banned Book Week if you want to find out more about Banned Book Week. Peace out. I love you guys and keep reading. Bye.